My job is to be a really sturdy, solid pair of hands that's going to guide you. Let me do all the dirty work and I will bring you what's important. Let me treat you like my family, and here you go.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're doing a deep dive into the career of Jamie Oliver and looking at his influence on British cuisine.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For those out of the loop, Jamie Oliver is one of Britain's most famous TV chefs. By 2019, he had become Britain's best-selling non-fiction author, selling roughly £180 million of cookbooks.
Loads of flavour. Really get stuck in there.
Despite his fame, he's probably the UK's most divisive chef. Many claim he has ruined British food and that his reforms degrade the working class. As someone who began marketing himself as an everyman with recipes anyone can make at home, this shows a significant drift in public image. But how did he become so contentious, and are these criticisms justified? Today, we're going to look at his entire career, and you can answer this question for yourself. If you can't tell from his accent, Jamie is an Essex boy. His parents ran a restaurant, which is where he first began cooking. After graduating from college with a home economics qualification, he landed a gig as a pastry chef. He then graduated to the rank of sous chef at the River Cafe in Fulham.
Today, Jamie's cooking a rotolo, fresh pasta with spinach, ricotta and porcini.
This rotolo's been on for about 15-20 minutes now. As you can see, it's boiling away quite smoothly.
Here he was noticed by the BBC after an unscripted appearance in Christmas at the River Cafe in 1997. 2 years later, The Naked Chef landed on screens. This kick-started his reputation as an easily relatable bloke chef. Not long after, he was invited to 10 Downing Street, where he cooked lunch for Prime Minister Tony Blair. For a brief while, the media showered him with nothing but positivity. This had changed by the end of The Naked Chef's 3-series run. His first controversial decision was starring in numerous Sainsbury's adverts, which some saw as him selling out his image.
See what would be nice? One of those green olives. Little knob of parmesan, though. Oh no, I got it in my helmet. I'll save it for later. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Some even began believing his accent was faked, but why would anyone want to fake an Essex accent? After his debut programme finished, Jamie started working for Channel 4, initially starring in Jamie's Kitchen. This was arguably the peak of his likeability. He was even given an MBE by the Queen in 2003.
And basically what's happened is, in the last 20 years, the food has just gone down and down and down to what we have now, which is basically an absolute.
A couple of years later, his crusade to make school meals healthy was firmly underway, a campaign called Feed Me Better. While his heart was in the right place, it was obvious he was completely detached from the working class. Many parents believed he was dictating to them what their children should eat. Many families just didn't have the money to cook fresh and healthy meals.
God, I feel totally uninspired.
Working class communities were already stigmatised for consuming processed foods, and this campaign felt like a public shaming of their hardship. Many low-income families were alienated, with Jamie prioritising nutritious value, ignoring accessibility. Schools in deprived areas struggled to implement his changes. They required trained kitchen staff, bigger budgets, and upgraded facilities.
Jesus. Don't you start following me.
Jamie's proposals were overly optimistic and completely disconnected from the realities of public education. 2005 was also the year he killed a conscious lamb on television before Watershed. This garnered significant backlash from animal rights activists. The 2000s also saw the rise of his restaurant empire, with most cities having their own Jamie's Italian by the mid-2010s. To quote Oliver himself, it was made for positively disrupting mid-market dining. A decade later, the Sunday Times gave it a scathing review, and a few months after that, it went into administration.
It's a lot of history here, isn't it?
Yeah.
According to his website, Oliver only owns a single restaurant in the UK now. He has more restaurants in Dubai than in Britain, probably because he didn't take away their turkey Twizzlers.
Staff turned up for work at 22 eateries today to find signs like these.
Surprisingly, lackluster Italian restaurants are maybe his least controversial business endeavour. Oliver became publicly involved in environmental activism. Then he decided to go into business with oil giant Shell. In 2019, he made a £5 million deal with the company, one of his most hypocritical career moves.
The next time you get hungry on the go, why not check out the Jamie Oliver Deli by Shell?
Additionally, in 2009, he released a line of pasta sauces with as much salt as 10 bags of crisps, an extremely hypocritical business decision for the man seeking to make Britain healthy. Many consider the naked chef to be out of touch with reality. When promoting his 2013 show, Save with Jamie, he criticised a family for eating chips and cheese out of styrofoam containers, and behind them is a massive TV.
A beautiful, homemade, handcrafted artisan burger.
Such a sentiment is incredibly damaging to the working class, and with a net worth of over 100 million, he's not in a place to comment. He's also been accused of cultural appropriation more than once. In 2018, he released Punchy Jerk Rice, a product that included few Jamaican jerk ingredients. Also, jerk rice isn't an authentic dish, it's a Jamie fabrication. This prompted him to hire cultural appropriation specialists, which weren't amazing at their job. We know this because in 2024, he released a children's book set in Australia.
I just wanted to normalise how much kids love food.
It was quickly pulled from shelves for stereotyping Aboriginal cultures. One example of this is the main character being able to read minds, or because it's the Indigenous way. The central conflict is an abduction plot, which is astoundingly insensitive because of Australia's stolen generations.
So this story was never ever supposed to happen. It was just an intimate story for me and my kids.
It makes no sense why he wrote a light-hearted children's tale about one of the most horrific parts of Australian history. Popular Malaysian YouTuber Uncle Roger, also known as Nigel Ng, has also criticised his Asian recipes. Most famously was his egg fried rice, which he disgustingly put jam in.
Right, the next ingredient. I have this in my home all the time now, chili jam. It's brilliant for cooking.
Jamie also enraged Iceland in 2017 for sourcing his salmon from a harmful Icelandic farm. So after a career lasting more than 25 years, how much has he personally affected British cuisine? Well, he was a key figure in implementing the sugar tax, a very controversial policy. More than 6 years later, some research has shown this tax had a positive effect on public health. So, props to him for that. In Scotland, he tried to get rid of buy one get one free deals. This was a huge failure. All it did was make the poor poorer. Hence the government postponed these bans indefinitely.
Excuse me, can you cook? That sounded like a harmony. That was beautiful.
His most famous change was removing turkey Twizzlers from school dinners. Sure, they're bad for kids, but even he admitted he failed to make school dinners healthy. Why? Well, in his own words, eating well is a posh and middle-class concern.
Kids in England today know what a turkey Twizzler is more than a chicken breast.
It's not difficult to see the elitism in his statement. He's saying poor people don't care about their health, which they do, they just can't afford to eat better. How about instead of guilting poor people into eating better, he donates some of his millions to the cause? His British recipes have been criticised for being oversimplified. It makes total sense why this sparks outrage. On the other hand, he's never portrayed himself as a master chef, but as a simple one. His original goal was to create recipes anyone could make at home, so if you don't like his changes, just don't cook them. Going forward, his Ministry of Food is seeking to reach at least 40,000 people from impoverished communities. His heart is in the right place. Improving public health is a noble goal.
Look at where we are right now. The world's never been more bloody unhealthy. It's so frightening. This generation's expected to live a shorter life than their parents. It's really uncomfortable stuff. I really don't like it. And that's my kids. I look at my kids and I look at that stat and it bothers me.
Unfortunately, his execution is completely misguided, leading people to label him as a classist, entirely out of touch with the class he seeks to help. So did he ruin British food? Not entirely, but he's certainly done a number on it. Do you think Jamie Oliver ruined British food? Let us know below.
When you're looking at public health, child health, nationally, locally, in your neighbourhood, rich or poor, when it gets so bad and we're there right now, you need to change the rules of the game, and that is now.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.